live. Karen Reed has been found not guilty of second-degree murder of her police officer boyfriend. Yes, you heard it right. She was found not guilty of second-degree murder of her police officer boyfriend. Here she is. Here's a photo of her smiling after she was acquitted of the murder. Let me show you her photo. Let's let this sink in for a minute. I think you kind of know where I'm about to go with this. But nevertheless, let's read the article as written for USA Today magazine, written by Carissa Reddick and Melina Khan. Jurors who voted to acquit Karen Reed of the most serious charges said prosecutors failed to convince them of her guilt, while prosecutors accused Reed's supporters of weakening their case. In his first media appearance since the trial ended, the jury foreman, who declined to give his name, told the Today Show he believed Reed was, quote, innocent and, quote, no one could prove that she did this crime. So I looked at her from day one as an innocent woman that needed to be proven guilty. And I don't think any of this was shown in this process, end quote, he said June 24th. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you know like I know, if this was a black woman who had a police officer boyfriend and she murdered him, you know that she would have been found guilty. And if she had been acquitted, there would have been such an outcry from the FOP, the Fraternal Order of Police, that they would have had no rest. So prosecutors accused Reed, 45, of hitting her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, with her Lexus SUV in a drunken rage and leaving him to die during a snowstorm on January 29, 2022. Her first trial in 2024 ended in a hung jury, but on June 18th, she was acquitted on charges of second-degree murder and manslaughter, though the jury found her guilty of drunk driving. Reed's defense team has long argued O'Keefe was killed by cops during a house party inside the home of fellow Boston police officer Brian Albert, then bitten by a dog and thrown outside. O'Keefe's body was found buried in the snow outside Albert's home on June 29, 2022. So here's what else key players have said. Special Prosecutor Hank Brennan expressed disappointment in the verdict in a June 23rd statement, accusing Reed's team and supporters of waging a, quote, campaign of intimidation and abuse, end quote, throughout the trial. Quote, after an independent and thorough review of all the evidence, I concluded that the evidence led to one person and only one person, said Brennan, who was hired by the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office in 2024. Neither the closed federal investigation nor my independent review led me to identify any other possible suspect or person responsible for the death of John O'Keefe, quote, close quote. The year-long legal saga captivated true crime fans, sparked conspiracy theories, and splintered communities. With supporters of Reed's holding rallies across the country, one of those supporters, the blogger Adian Kearney, who goes by Turtle Boy, was charged with witness intimidation. The campaign of intimidation and abuse that has been waged, funded, and promoted in public and on social media is the antithesis of justice. Brennan said in a statement, "It is my hope that with the verdict, the witnesses and their families will be left alone," quote, end quote. During his June 23rd Today interview, the jury foreman said the 12-person panel didn't focus on their personal feelings when deciding Reed's fate, but rather looked at the swaths of evidence presented during the 8-week-long trial. Quote, it was the whole case all together, all the pieces, the testimony, witnesses, and just a lot of it together that led to the decision, he said. Something did happen to Mr. O'Keefe, and it's foul play, or whatever you want to say, but there was no evidence, even though Through multiple witnesses and testimonies by his autopsy and everything, there was still no one who said there was solid evidence that there was a collision or that he got hit by a car. The foreperson added, quote, end quote. Another juror who was identified only by his first name, Jason, told TMZ the piece of evidence that stuck out most to him was Reed's taillight. Investigators found pieces of Reed's right tail light on the scene where O'Keefe's body was located, which prosecutors used to tie her to the crime. But her defense team alleged police planted the tail light shards to frame Reed and showed jurors videos taken after O'Keefe's body was found where Reed's tail light appeared more intact. It seemed to me that the videos that we could see from the car after the alleged incident happened, that when we could see the tail light, it was lit up red when it shouldn't have been red, the juror told TMZ. All I know is there were a lot of holes in the investigation, quote, close quote. Juror Paula Prado, who was a lawyer in Brazil before she moved to the United States, told the local NBC affiliate in Boston she believes O'Keefe went inside the Alberts home and, quote, something happened inside the house, end quote. She said she thought Reed could have been guilty of manslaughter near the beginning of the trial, but never saw evidence tying the Massachusetts woman to the scene of O'Keefe's death. The reason why I'm coming out and talking to people is to keep the flame going and the supporters going after the DA or whatever they have to do to reopen the case and find who really killed John O'Keefe, she said. Close quote. Well, she's been acquitted and she can't be tried for murder again. Something happened in or outside the house on that day. Never surrender, never quit. To the comment section. Hey, right back at you, Super. All right, Ross. I don't know what that code means. All right, never surrender, never quit.